Yep.
Not cleanly, but it was good enough.
But you felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, I felt like, okay, I know I've hit this before. Whereas before it was just a total top and it would go 10 yards and I'd be totally done.
How was the rest of the full swing for you?
The rest of it was good.
Okay.
And I was doing a little more fairways.
Okay.
Of
Good.
course, they did a side game where, the most fairways hit got a prize. Lee Clark.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Just fairway after fairway.
Yeah. So the par threes didn't count, so that's 4. That's 15. She hit 13 out of 15 fairways.
That's tough to beat. Yeah, I mean, I figure, if you can hit 70% of your fairways, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And if she's going to hit 13 out of 15,
I know.
that's extremely strong.
She was in our group too. And
So
she's just so amazing, Lee Clark.
She's a great lady.
She's such an amazing lady. She doesn't hit it far every time,
but in front of her, and she's a good player. And she's good with her core strategy, like she knows what she's doing when she's out there.
Yeah.
So today, obviously we're stout here, regardless of what we're doing. We're going to warm up. Let's see how the full swing looks compared to last week. We can talk about when you made that high score, kind of what caused that.
Mm-hmm.
We can touch on putting, because and we do get days where some putts don't get in.
I know.
And that's good, but I do think, because we see each other so regularly, that it's smart that we don't neglect any aspect and we do everything.
Right.
In your mind, what would be the number one thing today?
I'd like to figure out, like from here to there, if I hit a ball, it's almost always short.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking, like from here to here, that's really short.
Correct.
I can't hit my sand iron more than like 30 yards.
Okay, so like when you're 40 to 50 to 60 yards away right now, that's probably an issue.
Because then I'll take out my pitching iron, which out on the range I can hit it 95 to 100, after it bounces and it lands 100. But when I'm somewhere like this, my sand iron won't do it. My pitching iron is too long, so I tend to do a half swing or something.
Yeah.
And I'm always short.
Okay.
I'm always short.
Okay. So let's we'll spend some time full swing, and then let's work on that 60, 70 yards and in.
Okay.
And make sure we can get the right distance. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And then we'll touch on putting. We can touch on anything you want, but like that to me, if you're 40 or 50 yards, which if we go to the back side of this tee and kind of go that direction, that's the distance we're at. We absolutely got to be able to hit the green there, or at least have confidence.
I don't want to have 2 shots to the green.
No,
and then
not at all.
Putting for another 2 because you don't have enough accuracy to get close to the hole.
You feel like you're wasting shots, and your full swing's improved so much, but if you had a beautiful drive, a good second shot down there, and a lot of times on some of the tougher holes, you're going to be 30 or 40 yards.
Exactly.
If you can have a nice approach in a 2-putt, there you're at 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't do that if I'm hitting twice for a pitch or a chip or something.
You can't. So let's dial in on that. I gave you a 9-iron just to kind of get loose. 9-iron a pitch, and let's just hit a few shots. Beautiful morning over in the shade. I like it. Got a lesson with your son on Saturday.
I know. He said that you have a friend that passed away.
We did. He's actually, I did. He's a member here. Very unexpectedly and
that's too bad.
young age, so I need to add a few of those obviously things for support, and that's it's tough. Those things happen in life, and it always kind of puts things in perspective. Sad that it takes those things to do it.
I know, exactly.
Good first swing. That was great.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Awesome contact.
Not perfect.
Yeah, all good.
That was okay. If I can do that, even if it's not a perfect shot, I'm feeling like, okay.
Yeah, your contact is
No.
your contact has definitely improved this year, in my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, that was the biggest obstacle last year that we overcame, with some of those contact issues. Good. That was great.
Yeah.
Awesome swing. So when you're swinging these and just getting loose, are you thinking of anything, or just kind of getting loose?
I'm thinking about the 3 things that I have to do every shot.
Okay, from what we've talked about.
Yeah, which is square my shoulders.
Yep.
Do a half swing and make sure I brush the grass.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things I think about every single time.
Because when you do that, quote, half swing, what you think is half, it just gives you that right
Yep.
kind of point.
Yep. And when I say half swing, I'm still moving my shoulder,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
because that one week when I said half swing and I was missing everything, I was just half swinging like this.
It was just arms.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the key, is that the shoulder turn and what we call the big muscles control that backswing, and then you hit it beautiful. Your habit is, you think sometimes, and I don't want to call it a lazy swing, but it's like the half swing becomes the arms lift.
Yes.
And we don't get this. Okay.
I know, and that's a huge problem. And I can, if I hit the shot, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Is really nice.
Setup there looks good. Perfect. Right where you're aimed. Right where you're aimed.
Yeah, I was trying to do a little better on my aiming.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did that help?
That helped a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Is the full swing with the driver been pretty good too? Have you
Yeah,
been?
It actually was pretty good.
So you mentioned they did a game with the fairways. How many fairways did you hit yesterday morning?
I hit 5 on the front.
That's good.
That's not too bad. And
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 on the back. So it
So
wasn't
9 or
bad.
10. That's not bad at all.
I thought, that's pretty good out of 15.
That's really good. I mean, you only missed 5, and the ones that you missed, were they big or were they just off the edges?
They were
Or
just off the edges. So I was kind of okay with that.
yeah, that's not really that.
I mean, the week before, I played in the rough the entire game, and that was just annoying.
That can be hard.
So
Yeah.
this was better.
When you're constantly into that recovery mode and always making up for shots, that's hard.
I know. I feel like I'm scrambling all the time.
Yeah, it's tough to feel like you're behind the 8 ball off the tee. So on these shots, where do you want to aim? What fits your eye?
Oh, all right. Let's see. I want to aim for, see that patch of sunlight right straight
Yep.
ahead of me? That's what I'm aiming.
Okay. 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 Let me just watch a few. Yeah? Let me take one over here.
Exactly right.
Well, and I think I like that you're trying to work on aim. Obviously, because that's something, I mean, you could hit a beautiful shot, but if we're aimed incorrectly, our bodies can cause issues, or the ball's going to go where we don't want it, right?
Right. Oh, I knew you were taking a picture.
First miss it you've had warming up, right? The very first one. We will ignore that. All right, I'm going to show you something. So, obviously, we'll throw that one out there. It was a miss hit. You're like, okay, you're taking a video. I don't like that. You'll see on the other view when we're down the line that the aim is a little bit more left of that shadow.
Okay.
Slightly, okay. Now, setup-wise, you're doing a really good job with your shoulders. One reminder is you can kind of see where your hands are pointed almost towards your belly button. And with the irons, we want to make sure we have a little bit of what we call that forward shaft lean.
Okay.
So this was the one that the shot before this we hit heavy.
Okay.
So it's the same setup. Now you didn't hit this one heavy, but the one you did before that. So if I start with my hands, even with my belly button, okay, and I put the ball a little bit too far behind the ball, there's a good chance I'm going to hit the ground before the golf ball. Okay, kind of hit that shot heavy. I'd like to see where this says golf pride at the end, where that kind of points a little bit more to the inside of your left thigh, so you kind of have that shaft at an angle.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and not so far, you're not over here for like your driver, but I'm still a little ahead.
With irons, I want you ahead. With driver, we're going to be even.
Yeah.
We're going to be even.
But in front.
Correct.
In front of the foot.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So I would just say if we can get that shaft a little bit more here,
Okay.
that would help. Grip looks good. Shoulders look good. That's a good turn. So that's a really good turn. Your shoulders have turned 90 degrees or so. And now this is the biggest change for you. You are stopping your arms and hands when your shoulders stop.
Before I was just always taking them all the way up.
Yeah, so that's the biggest change this year compared to last year is your contact is a lot better because you don't have all those timing elements because you would stop here and then your arms would keep going.
Gotcha.
So then when you would unwind in your downswing, your arms and the club were lost in translation. They're like, wait, what about us?
Yeah.
And now they're stopping when your shoulders stop. So that looks great. That's a really
Okay.
good job. And then you come down, great weight shift, and we're swinging through. And even that position is improved. We're kind of getting that impact, the club, straight up your left side. And then I know what you're going to see. So there's a little bit of what I would call fallback.
I know, I still do that.
It's a habit. Habits die hard.
Okay,
They die really
okay.
hard. So you see that fallback, and we see what we kind of call those chicken wing arms a little bit,
I know.
alligator arms.
Yes, I've done that my whole life.
But if you see that compared to video that we have 2 years ago, it is better.
Okay.
It is a lot better.
Okay.
So think of all the progress we've made on the other things of your backswing, your
Okay.
setup, all that's better. Now we can start going after this because that's the order that it happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
because we kind of get what I would call a little bit of kind of hanging on my backside,
Yep.
and then my arms get a little bit scrunched up, we can still get those chunky shots occasionally. Where ideally when we're swinging through, obviously you have a great weight shift in here. I want you to continue to swing through the shot, just like you would if you were throwing a ball. We can do it. We can definitely do it. And I've seen you do it last week, where those arms are kind of going, and we talked about like you're shaking hands with somebody out here to get those arms to extend. And that would help with accuracy too.
Oh,
Okay. That would give you some more speed and accuracy, because you can see here as you follow through, even in this,
starting to get a little
it's
bit.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's better.
Still not much.
It's
Yeah.
better, but that right toe is hanging back, and we can just let that thing go.
Gotcha.
You just let it go. So let the momentum of that club when you're swinging it, let it go. Okay, now let's look at this one. But overall, the swing is so much better. Okay, so what would you say about that aim compared to where we chatted about where you were going?
I can't really tell.
Okay, so here's the target line, which is the ball. Okay, here's your feet. So you were pretty much 20 yards right of that tree, kind of in that sunlight. And we were going in between basically the shade and that tree with all those shots. So this shot was a good swing. This is exactly where you're aimed. Okay, and you're fixing it because you aim so far right. Setup position's good. Backswing, it's great. I would say the one thing I would say is make sure that when we're turning back, so you can kind of see here, it's a little bit what I call lifty. Do you see that?
And I'm not weight shifting very much.
So the pivot will always be a big thing for you, because when we see the effects of what's happening at impact, okay, well that's just kind of the symptom. That's not showing how what's going on. It's that chain reaction. It's the domino effect per se. So your habit, and we're doing so much better, is to once in a while kind of just use the arms and lift the golf club, right? We talked about that last week. Where I want you to really feel like it's, what we talk about is the big muscles kind of turning back. If I was holding a medicine ball, I'd be turning back, and when I do that, you're doing it perfectly right there. You're moving. So if I was to take this golf club,
But I'm not swaying.
no, you're not swaying at all. Yes, you're turning. So if you were to take this golf club, just to get the feeling, and let's say this was the ball I was going to hit. If I cross this club across my chest and I'm in my golf posture, okay, I'm going to turn back and I'm going to try to point that grip behind the ball. So the grip's out my lead side. There you go. But fake your golf posture all the way. Let's pretend this is the golf ball. Okay? Yep, and I'll turn back. There, and you can let that hip go. That hip wants to go. Yeah, let it go.
I can't get this club behind the ball.
Nobody can.
Unless I turn my hip.
Correct. You got to let that hip go. And that's like a stretch you'll see people do sometimes, is they're going this way. We want to feel like the hip is allowed to turn back, right? Because if I restrict this, I can't get it back.
No, you can't.
It wants to go. But it happens because as we turn back with those big muscles, and I'm thinking turn, okay, that starts to pull my lower body with me. And it just wants to happen. So that's what we call the pivot. And that's improved with your swing, but we can still kind of engage that a little more. And as that improves, that means I'm loading up better, right? And the more I can load up, guess what I can do? Swing more towards my target. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
No, but it's just it's all together. I understand that it's all parts, and we're working toward
But you can't play golf with all those parts in your mind.
No,
You got to think and
no.
pick like what you might need to think about based on what the golf ball's doing that day.
Right.
Like if you're hitting it chunky, to me, I'm gonna check your ball position, and I'm gonna make sure, okay, I'm probably lifting my arms. Because when you lift your arms, what goes up comes crashing down.
I know,
So
I hate that.
yesterday when you played,
Mhm.
you said you thought about those 3 things,
Yep.
and that was consistent all the way through?
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried to stick with that the whole time.
Good. That's what I want, regardless of the result. All right, let's hit a few more, and let's do this for aim, just for my own good.
Okay.
Let's aim at that white flag, just so we kind of have the exact
Fine,
same,
okay.
just right at the white flag.
All right.
There you go. Yep. Good. Okay. Good swing. Yeah. Great swing. That's really good. It's in there. That lady doesn't shoot that, doesn't make a 9, right?
I know.
It's in there.
I hated that. I had to take those 3 strokes. I was so mad.
Okay. Ball position's a little up, so put it slightly. Yep. And then make sure we have just a slight angle. Yep. But then the other setup changes that you had in your mind were dead on. That's great. It's okay though. Here's what I like. It didn't go to the right.
Yep.
Okay? So if you ever feel yourself lifting with or without a golf club, I want you to kind of feel like those shoulders are what's moving. Kind of like holding that medicine ball, and that left shoulder's going there. You what?
I just can't think of all those
No,
things.
just on the driving range. Just
Yeah,
on the
I
driving
hear
range.
ya.
Yeah.
I know. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just going. It's just so frustrating because you can't think of everything.
Well, how fast the golf swing? It's 1.2 seconds.
Just really fast.
You're allowed, in my opinion, to think about maybe a couple things in your setup, and then one thing when you swing. That's it.
You're a little close to me.
Making you don't like that view.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. You didn't feel
You know what?
comfortable.
I was worried about. I was worried about my hip.
Thinking about it, right?
Yep. I was thinking about let's get the hip moving a little bit.
Just think turn. You do great when you think turn. Setup looks good right there. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
So that ball flight has a little draw. Sounded great. That feel a little better?
Yeah, it did.
That looked really good. One more with that club. And you said you did some of the fairway woods yesterday?
I did. No.
It's
that
okay.
was all arm because I was thinking about my hip again. I'm
So-
just trying to add too many things.
Too many things. So here's what I want you. So remember, we're saying don't think about it.
Right.
We're just going to allow it to happen. There, you're doing it. If you do this, if you think about just turning back, it will go. But if our mind goes hyper engaged into like, oh, I have to think about this, that's so distracting. To try to hit a golf ball, it's not going to happen. Yeah, think about just that nice turn back. Setup looks good. All right.
I'm thinking too much.
Mm-hmm. We've added nothing, right? Just that hip is something to let go. Yep, aim looks good. Okay. Golf.
Stop it.
Yep, you're fine.
Just stop.
Thinking. Clear your mind a minute.
Okay.
Slip, slow down, and just get a good setup. You're fine. There you
Oh
go.
my goodness. I want to do that every time.
That was great.
I know that.
Really good. That was pretty.
Yep.
It was a good swing. And what I like is we took a breath,
Yep.
right?
And I need to do that sometimes too.
When you play.
When I play. Not when I play so much because there's so much time in between.
Yeah, you kind of have that built in.
So you kind of have a chance to just settle down and get to the ball.
Yeah, it's
When I'm
not.
on the driving range. That's the hard part.
That's when it's more rapid fire.
Because I can hit so much that I get out of breath. And I'm going, okay, that's a little too
Yeah,
much.
we don't need the driving range to be cardio,
I know,
right?
right.
I'll tell people, remember, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. So tell me. Oh yeah, yeah, like chill. I have one guy in particular with lessons. You see how the basket's tipped down? I have to keep it like that.
Otherwise,
He'll keep going. Like I'll try to talk and the ball's already in the air. I'm like, dude. So I try to slow and play. Yeah. Which club?
I've been using the 5.
Okay. Do you ever use that?
Well, I bought it
Yeah.
when I thought I could do on the par 3 number 13.
Mm-hmm.
I was hitting my driver too long, and then I went down to the 3-iron, then I went down to the 3-wood and the 5-wood. So I bought the 7 to get there,
Yeah.
but then I figured out I can get there with my 4-5.
Okay.
So I don't hit it.
So you don't use this at all?
Not really, but I'm willing to give it a try.
I think the only difference you'll see is like when you need kind of max distance in the fairway or really good line in the rough, this is your go-to. This could give you an option if the ball was just sitting down in the rough a little bit, but it can't be sitting down a lot because it's still a fairway wood. But I want to see you hit it because you look at it compared to your 5, it's the same shaft, it's obviously the same club. It's just a 7 wood, which is 21 degrees aloft, where this one is 18. And let's aim at that white flag. Okay. You're right. Did the 5 wood yesterday when you pulled it out? How did it go?
Well, actually, straighter, but on a long, low.
So it was
line
low.
like that. It
Okay.
was really low.
All right, so we gotta get some height to it.
I just don't know how to get height.
It's okay. You're all right. Go back to your 3 keys that you told me at the beginning of this lesson. Yep, setup looks good. Okay, so how do we make a ball with the fairway would go higher?
I need to be brushing the grass.
Okay, kind of more the sweeping motion. Where should the ball position be for
That I'm not sure.
for a 7 wood? Okay, so what I saw on some of those is it was a little bit too far back. So if you think about your driver, if I draw a line, it's going to go kind of towards what we call my lead instep, right?
Okay.
But it's inside my feet. That's the driver. My fairway woods are going to be just inside of that, but it definitely still favoring the front. Okay, and this was more middle like an iron. And when we put it in the middle and kind of hit down on it, it's going to go left.
So,
Okay.
am I going to keep the
Good question.
shaft a little forward, or should it be straight?
More straight.
More straight.
Okay,
So
yes.
it's like the driver, just move it in a little bit.
Yes. The only time we want those the clubs to be with that angle at setup is with the irons. I mean, obviously with the woods, I don't want you starting back here,
Right.
but we do want it to be a little bit more just parallel because we want to use the loft on the club. And anytime we do this, we're de-lofting the club, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
We're taking that
so
loft away.
every time when I'm working with my irons and I'm getting closer and closer, that's why I keep moving it a little bit forward, especially when you're in sand.
Yeah, height.
Yeah.
Height,
Okay,
absolutely height.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So think kind of that, get that ball slightly more up in your stance. That looks great. That's perfect.
No.
It's okay. So setup was good. This is a bigger club, so it's moving faster. So I'm going to say your setup there was great with ball position, but I want you to imagine that turn, and we talked specifically about your left shoulder, kind of turning back. Yep, there you go. Good. Now, great contact. It had a hook to it, but that was good contact.
It was.
Okay?
I would take that.
All right. Now what I want to do is get it where we can fix that hook a little bit, okay? Because anytime a ball is hooking, we know the club face is closed, which means it's going to be low too.
Okay.
All right? Okay. See, a couple more.
It's just going to be hard.
We will do it. You thought irons were hard, and we've got those, right?
No, I
So-
can get there. It's
We can definitely do it. It's a process. We're doing it. Okay, great contact.
that was better.
Really good contact. I want to take a video from this view, from this side too. How often do you hit your 5 wood now? Like in a course of 9 holes? I mean,
3 on the par 5s.
okay.
4 times maybe max.
So you're hitting a fairway wood 8 to 10 times a time that you play 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 3 or 4 times total.
Oh, okay. Not just for 9. This
No,
total in the entire day.
Yeah,
Okay.
only on the par 5s, so maybe I'll hit it twice. And
Okay.
then I'll go. If it didn't go very far, then I'm back to my 4, 5, or 6.
That's your favorite club in your bag. I know that.
No, it is. That's one I can hit.
That's your go-to.
It's always my go-to.
Okay, let me Let me show you this. So here's what I see. So ball position here, and this is after we set it. Where does that look like it is in your mind?
Middle.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Again, so this is habit. And the way that our eyes are used to seeing things, we just have to train them. So one of the things we'll do in a second is I'll put a stick down in between your feet, just kind of remind you to get it a little more up.
Gotcha.
Okay? The rest of the setup here, as far as where your hands get, are fine. Okay? Like this, like 1 or 2 degrees of angle, that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay? Here, now this is what I see. I see a backswing that gets quick.
Yep.
And we are definitely trying to, quote, overpower that golf ball. So,
Instead of swinging.
yes, that's just the old, but when do old habits come out, in my opinion?
When you're not sure about the shot.
We don't have confidence in the club, and when we have a lot of speed.
Okay.
So if we add a lot of speed, everything tends to go back to who we were, not the new person that we're trying to ingrain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we can have the best intention in the universe. We can be like, all right, I know what I'm supposed to do. I can do it with my 9-iron. I can do it with my 7-iron.
I can do it with this.
You can. And then we get to that, and then it gets a little harder because of the element of speed. Okay? So let's get the ball position a little more up. And just to keep an eye on that, all we're going to do is lay this stick down. So you get all positioned. Perfect. So now if I lay this stick down, that's giving you kind of an indicator of where you are with ball position. That's plenty forwards, because like driver is going to be kind of here. So that's, I would say you're about a ½ inch too far forward now. There we go. Good. Get this back up a little bit. There you go. And then the big thing here, one of those keys that you had, yep, think shoulder turn, big muscles. Beautiful contact.
And slower.
Yes.
A lot slower.
Did that hook? Yes. Now, the one thing, and I didn't change it because I let you go, look at where we're aimed right now.
I'm aiming right down there.
Basically at that big tree.
Yeah.
You're one of the rare students that I teach that actually starts to aim more and more left on this tee. Most people start going more and more right.
Oh, really?
Like right-handed players usually aim too far right. You're starting to go more over there because that was a good swing.
I think I'm starting to I'm thinking that I need to not aim for that because we talked about the train tracks and how they all come together and stuff. So like this week, I've been purposely aiming in that direction to kind of compensate for
aiming too far right.
Aiming too far right.
I would say, and this is the driving range, so it's not like what you're doing out there. Just be cognizant that right now, today, you're overdoing the left, which is a better thing to do because now we can say, all right, let's just back off of it.
Now let's find the middle.
But we've been aimed to the shade the entire time. So if I was to put this stick down towards that white flag, okay, that's our target line, right?
Yep.
So that kind of keeps us engaged to that's our white flag. And then we know we can set our body parallel to that, but it's going to be parallel left. That's the best aim you've had yet. That's perfect. Ball position looks good. Big muscles. Good swing.
Yay.
Good swing.
Okay.
That's better, right?
It is.
So that's a club that I think could be useful. It's a lot like your 5 wood, but that had some pop to it.
It did, and yeah, I didn't hit anything that far.
Because loft is your friend.
To slow down. Loft is my friend.
Yes.
And I don't have a lot of loft a lot of times.
So this one, let's double check one thing. Okay. I just want to see the weight. So they're both lightweight. They're both ladies flex. I mean, it's the same basic club.
One's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and the 5 wood's going to be 3 degrees stronger, so it should give you a little bit more pop, but that was a good swing. So now nothing changes. Same setup, ball position looks good. Okay. What's going on?
I need to get a
New grip?
grip
Is it slipping?
Well, I actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, you do. It's wearing off to the shaft, for sure. And then you had this new club that you don't use, and you're like, yeah, that felt better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do need a new one. There you go. That was great.
I do that now and then on the range, and so I know I can do it, and that's why I'm starting to try to use it.
What was your thought on that? Was it the turn?
It was slow down.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay. So those things, if you can do it on the range, if you come out here by yourself or with your son or your husband, those are the thoughts to play with. So if you get that club on number 15 and you need max distance, yes, think of those 3 keys again, but then tell yourself just kind of slow down.
Slow down on that backswing, because then that'll prevent me from hitting it so hard and fast.
Yeah, a lot of times how we start is going to be how we finish. So if we start fast, our body's out of sequence, and now we're playing catch up the whole time, right? If we start the way we want, we can kind of gather momentum and hit it solid. For you, I would say keep using it. Don't be afraid of it, because you're using it in the fairways. You're not using it in the rough, I hope.
No,
because that rough's too deep.
Not at all.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, when we were out the one time that we did a lesson out on
the golf course, yep.
I was in the rough, and I just always take out my 4-5
Yes.
because I need distance and that kind of thing, and I can hit it. And you're going 7 because you need loft.
It's sitting down. You always need that loft, and you've been doing that.
And I have been doing that.
Okay, good. That's what I want. We will do the next lesson we meet.
Yep, actually it's next week.
Then we will go on the golf course.
Okay.
Because we kind of like alternating that. And then like you said today, I like having a plan. You mentioned some short game shots to me.
Yeah.
Now we're still doing some full swing because that's the most obviously bang for your buck to make sure it's there. But I haven't added literally anything new with the swing other than reminding you ball position with the fairway woods.
Right.
And then I know that you kind of saw this feeling, that sawed off kind of stopped, but that gets better when we turn back. Okay? All right, go white flag again. That white stick is aimed right there. All right. Does that happen at all when you play?
Not really. What happened there was I felt like the distance between my feet and the ball was just not right.
Okay, even before you hit it?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
You like that?
Yeah, I do. That's going to hit and run. It's got kind of top spin. Do you like that?
I liked it.
I do too. See a few more. That was great. Really good job. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just so much more confident on the...
I can see it. As soon as I hand you this club, you don't get scared like last year.
I can't hit it. No, I felt wrong.
Okay. So when you say that you felt wrong, even at the setup a little bit?
Yeah, even as I was getting ready to do my backswing, I thought, this isn't going to work.
Okay. Make sure we feel confident or at least comfortable over the shot before we pull the trigger. Okay, ball position looks good. Okay.
I do that a lot.
So that's the same miss we saw with the 5 wood and that 7 wood, which is kind of that low left, right?
So I need to slow it down.
Slow down the initial stages, but then the big thing too is get all set up to this. Is I've caught you a few times. You're really good about being consistent. When you get in here and you do what you just did, you kind of square the shoulders, that will help. If my shoulders get what we call open, it's almost like I'm hitting down on it. So feel like that right shoulder is more back. That looks better. Good. Closer. Got the hook.
Yep.
We'll get height. We will get height.
That doesn't happen often. Sometimes.
The height?
Oh, yeah. I'm going, okay, yeah, do that next time.
Yep. Okay, that's perfect. And then from this position, feel like your shoulders are more, so I want you to always feel like that right shoulder is lower, and then it feels like it's kind of more back. So this arm feels relaxed. Relax. There we go. Good. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Double the height.
And it's all because my shoulder was back farther than I always think about that, but I can even go back farther with my shoulder.
With the driver, you might have to feel like you exaggerated a little bit because the ball position being up your front foot, your right side has to travel further to put its hand on the golf club, and sometimes it can pull my arm and shoulder with it, so we can kind of get this position.
Yeah,
instead of feeling like here.
Yeah, okay.
What I like about this is if you can feel like it's closed or what we call a square, and this right arm's relaxed, then from the camera view, you would see like the top of my left forearm. That helps me sweep up on it and kind of swing what we call more out. And if we start here, we're kind of swinging down into what we call third base so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does.
So it just changes kind of the delivery of the golf club. Just from our setup, that changes our swing.
Yeah.
You know, you change your setup, you're going to change the swing. There we go. Much better.
Another good one.
Another good one. Okay. So, 2 things today. with full swing, just to build on. Your 3 cues are staying your 3 cues. Ball position with the fairway wood,
Yep.
okay, and then shoulder alignment with the driver. Biggest swing thing for you is still turn, like I'm turning back and reaching for something here. That's the big thing.
I'm going to work on that on the range, I think.
Okay.
Getting that swing turn so that I don't have to think about it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think about the shoulder turn, but I won't think about the whole swing turn.
You can't. I think when you get those 15, 20-minute sessions when you're on the range, that's where you can be hyper engaged and be somewhat not technical, but think about what we're trying to do in an effort to get a feel. So like if you can do it, you know that the results for the time being might be a little messy because you're really thinking about it, but then you get a feel that you can play on the golf course.
Right.
But you can't go out there with all those technical thoughts.
No. I got it. Those 3 things have been working for me. And if I can figure out how to add those in on top of the 3 things without thinking about it, I think I'll be there.
Yes, you will. You will. So what I want to do now is we're going to do what you talked about.
Okay.
We're going to go this way. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So from this distance, and you mentioned to me kind of 30, 50, 60, 70 yards, correct?
Right.
So if I was to go, let's go over here in the shade. And we have 3 flags, but from this distance, and we'll go all the way to the front of this tee.
Okay.
What do you, is sand wedge still the call for you when you're about?
Oh, no.
Okay.
A sand wedge would go to the end of the fairway here, just to this circle. That's as far as my sand wedge will ever go.
So that back pin
Okay.
from right here is 51 yards.
Okay,
So-
I can't do that.
So we're kind of in the sweet spot of the area you talked about.
Yep.
So if you're playing and you're on the golf course and this is your ball, and we got a 51-yard shot, that's to the pin.
So I need to lay it, I need to hit it less than that.
Yes,
obviously.
absolutely.
So if the pin says 51, I'm actually looking at a 42 or something shot
Yeah.
so that it rolls.
Just a 40-yard shot. Because we want to err on the side, like especially because this is like we're at Kent. If we go over the green here, that's no good. So like even staying front side of the green wouldn't be terrible, right?
Exactly.
So currently,
I want to get on the green.
oh yeah, and we're going to do that. What would you hit here?
I'd hit my pitching wedge.
All right, let's get it. Let's get your pitching wedge, and then when do you switch, in your mind, when do you switch to sand wedge?
Not very
Okay.
far. I would have to be right. I would have to be 20 yards off the green
To switch.
to switch.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is I'm either too long with my pitching wedge
Yep.
or I'm too short and I got to hit my sand wedge, which it's not terrible, but it's not, you can blade that all day long.
So you can use, as we get closer, like you could use any club in your bag.
Right.
What's changing is the trajectory. The moment you go to a pitching wedge, we talked a second ago about landing at 40 yards. That would be the case if we're in our sand wedge, because it should be a little higher
Oh, gotcha.
than this club. This club we might have to land at 35 yards.
Because
It's coming lower. Does that make sense?
lower and it's going to run.
So we're asking that club to be kind of a baby version of itself.
Okay.
Because when you hit that full swing, do you know how far it goes or not?
On the range, I can hit it 80 yards.
Okay, that's where I would think it would be.
Uh-huh.
So now we're saying we need half of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do to make it go half?
Well, it should be a half a swing.
What else can we do?
I don't know.
So we can grip down on the club,
Okay, gotcha.
because now it's taking some distance off the club. So if we do both of those, it's going to affect the distance. If we do one, it's going to affect it, but both will do it more.
Gotcha.
So if I was playing the shot, I would grip down on it a little bit. So set up to this ball. Let's do this. Let's just go to that middle flag.
Okay.
That's kind of the goal, but like you mentioned right now, let's let's get it on the green.
I just want it on the
Yeah,
green.
let's just get it on the green. Okay, so that's our goal. We're just going to get it on the green. And I want to just kind of see some of the technique. Are you picking out a spot where you're trying to land this?
I'm trying to land it just on the inside of the green.
Okay.
A little farther, maybe 5 yards or so.
Okay.
Into the, or not 5 yards, probably 5 feet into the green.
Okay. Okay, so now that one, to be honest, the contact was good though.
Yeah.
It shot a little to the right, but now we're over the green, just on the edge. So that's kind of the trajectory that this pitching wedge is going to be. So here's what I'll say. I want you to feel like we aim, let's get our aim right at the center of that green, so let's aim a little more left. And then I want you to grip down on this golf club a little more. Yeah, there we go, which makes us have to get a little closer. Our feet can get a little closer together. So think shoulder width apart, which makes us get taller and closer. There we go. All right, and now same thing, kind of baby, halfway back and go. Okay, you're right. So why did that ball shoot right when we tried that?
Because I mishit it.
Okay. And the feeling I want you to have is when you swing through, the arms are kind of going towards the target.
Gotcha.
So that was this.
Oh, gotcha.
So grab that club. Yeah, so it's going to feel this. There you go. Yeah,
Toward the
instead of
target.
here.
Okay,
Yep.
toward the target.
Mm-hmm. Give me a practice swing. Yeah, perfect. That was great. Yes. Way better. Aim was a little off, but way better kind of feel, we call it, right?
Mhm.
So the one part, and this goes for these shots, this goes for putting, is feel is inherently given to us by our eyes and by seeing the distance we're trying to hit it. So like you do a pretty good job. Soak in where you're trying to hit it, because there's no perfect formula to say like my arm backswing's got to go this far back to this far through. I want you just to
feel
yeah,
where it's gonna go.
yeah. I've
To
given
see where it's gonna go.
yeah, absolutely.
And when I took a lesson down in Florida, they also said to really favor my
Mm-hmm.
my left foot.
Should always have a little more, which you're doing right now, and that weight and how your stance is closer is a lot better. That's perfect. There's your shot.
There's the shot.
There's a great shot. That was, I mean, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do that again. And what I like is that sound. And see how you got to wipe the grass off? That was good. Yep, feet just shoulder width, no wider. There you go. Okay. So that's the miss.
Always.
And that happens. So the ball is shooting to the right. So we know that
Yep.
this is happening.
And
Okay.
I'm going like that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. It's okay.
Doing that.
You can. You do it with full swing, right? So you stop doing it there. We can stop it here. Better. And I'll say that you're.
Actually, I think I was aimed under there.
You were. You were. See a few more. But the setup looks pretty good. Like, so the feet should be no wider than that. Gripping down on it. Good. Okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
okay, I can work on this. Because I know what I'm doing.
Those arms should feel soft. Yep. So give me a practice swing. And I want you to feel like you kind of brush the top of that grass. There we go. Good. Just like that. Perfect. So that's on, or
Yeah,
but
I just need to aim a little better.
Mm-hmm. So just like we were talking about on the driving range, that aim's good right now. Good.
Nope.
It's okay. Quick. So when I say quick,
I know what you mean.
okay. Better. Now watch this. So like that's a
Not bad. A trickle.
yeah, but my goal, and you know this, and that's where I want to be able to put 5 golf balls down, which we're gonna do. We're gonna do a challenge. So 5 balls, we should be able to hit the green from this distance, 5 out of 5. But here's a challenge, because right now it's a weak spot, right? 4 out of 5. I don't care where it is, it's on the green. So practice swing was great. Yes. There you go. Okay, there's one.
That's one.
There's one. Good job. Really good. Yep. Okay.
Too heavy, but it'll go up there.
Okay, there's a good miss. You got away with it.
Yeah.
You got away with it. I'm going to give you one little thing that I like. When you're making your practice swings, what I love about your practice swings is you allow your chest and body to turn through the shot.
And then I don't when I come.
There's a tendency sometimes where it starts to kind of just get stagnant, right? So like if you were taking this ball and throwing it underhand, what would you do with your chest? you would do this.
Yes.
You would turn underhand and it would have a little more loft and
Yep.
the same kind of trajectory. When you get stagnant here, that's when sometimes it shoots out to the right.
Gotcha.
So allow that chest to come up. We don't need any self-talk of stay down. We do not need that. So much better.
That's going to be long.
Yeah, but the technique was better.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, shoot.
That's all right.
It's
So,
almost going to stay on. Now I got to really put
all right, so we got 2 on, we got 2 left, right? I like it though, because I'm trying to replicate some of the pressure, right?
Yeah. No, I knew when I did that it was not going to work.
You know what I would consider that though? This is teachable. I think that was a little because of the self-induced pressure. I really do. But that's a good way to practice this. Because then every ball kind of has a outcome that we're counting on. There we go. That was great.
Oh my goodness, but it's going to be long.
Okay, so if we can dial in that technique,
Then I can dial in the distance.
correct. And then we don't have to be afraid of the sand wedge.
Should I just be practicing with the sandwich?
Honestly, I think so. If the pin was like over there and it's 50 yards, I think it's a lot to take off this club. That'd be like saying, all right, I want you to hit your driver half the distance.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I hit my pitching wedge like 120 or 130. That'd be like me asking me to hit my pitching wedge 90 yards. Like it just gets tough because you're kind of slowing down too much. You're getting jabby.
You're trying to, you know.
So we just did it with the pitching wedge, right?
Okay, yeah.
So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get the sand wedge and we're gonna do the same thing, just to kind of test it. Because in my opinion, I think for you,
I think I should be doing this, but I'm
Well-
afraid of it.
I know you are, but you were afraid of your 5 2 months ago too, right?
So I can do this?
You
Is
can
what
do
you're
this.
saying?
You can definitely do this. If I just told you that was your pitching wedge and not a sand wedge,
I would have known because of
I
the
know.
rules.
And this says P right on the toe, and I'm like, all right, she's not gonna believe
I'm
that.
not going to buy that at all.
All right, same thing. There we go. Good. Mm-hmm. Watch this. Okay,
Oh,
there's
that was
one.
better.
There's one.
Okay.
Do you see the difference in the trajectory?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. It's just higher up and it's going to stop. It's going to land softer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So ball position, let's get it a little bit more middle. That was kind of creeping up.
Okay.
There you go. And then the same kind of feeling like we're allowed to turn through the shot. There we go. Probably the best one yet. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
What are we, 5 feet from the pin?
Well, it's probably more.
Yeah,
but yeah,
5, 6,
I know,
but it's
I think
better.
you know, I just need to get it on the first time. I can't be fooling around with it being short, with it trickling off.
But right now when you're out there, you're putting so much pressure to get on because it's a little bit in our mind, so it's
And
in
I
our
can't hit
psyche.
this, so I go to that.
And you're trying to make do with a club that's going to come out a lot lower. So if you hit it good, it's long. You got to really. So where we're at right now is this is a comfortable swing in my opinion.
Yeah.
So tell yourself 50 yards and in
Like this.
is a sand wedge. If you're 60 yards, and probably go here, and then adjust where it needs to land because this is going to come in lower compared to your sand wedge.
So make it land farther away from the
But what we're doing here, like obviously half the time I'm teaching on this tee, but you can go on the driving range and just aim at, you know what, is it even good? Aim at the 40 sign, aim at the end of the seam of where they cut the driving range.
Sure. For sure. That would be the perfect distance for me because I can't hit that distance.
But you've got 2 out of 3 on the green.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
it's
we're-
actually working. I mean, it's starting. Yeah. All right. So
There's just, we can't avoid it.
I know I've got to hit the shot.
Hmm.
Oh, I saw
Okay.
you. Stop it.
Okay.
All right. Let me try again.
Ball position, turn through the shot. So much better. So much better. So we tied the other one, right?
Yep.
But that's going to be more useful.
That's going to keep it on a little easier.
So the only technique things we got to watch, setup is the tendency to play it too far up. And then during the actual swing, there's this tendency where we don't always turn through.
Yep.
and I want you to still think kind of what you do with the underhand toss, how your chest works. That's the way I want your body moving, okay? Okay. Let's go middle of that green again. Go dead center. Okay, that's good aim. Yep. Look at that. When you think about, like, everybody is unique, right? Like, we get that. What do you typically hit shots, high or low?
Always low.
Okay.
Always low.
So then you're already a low pattern golfer, and we take a pitching wedge to a shot that does need some height.
It's never going to work.
Yeah, because that was still a low sand wedge.
Yeah.
And it worked. Okay. So in my opinion, that's way more consistent than this thing and trying to baby it. Okay, turn through the shot. That's so much better.
And I'm moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, you know, the movement forward. That's a lot better.
Instead of feeling like, oh man, this club's one that can go 80 yards and I'm going to do this and stop.
Yeah.
Because then I stop here, my chest stops, ball squirts right. So when you do hit it good, it's low. When you don't hit it good, it's like way right.
Yeah.
50 yards and in, sand wedge.
All right. That's my new thing.
Deal?
It is.
Okay.
I always do that.
Okay.
But if you tell me, I'm out there doing it.
Well, you've done it with every other club.
Yeah.
So like today we introduced a 7-wood, and we're like, maybe we try that. 5-wood's always going to be a little longer, but it's lower.
Right, and so I'm not getting pure distance on
No,
that.
but you're going to get some more distance than like the 4 or 5 iron.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We're talking about sand wedge here. Now let's go check the putting out.
All right.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
When are you going to be able to play next?
That's a good question.
You guys busy?
Peter's gone, but I could probably come out with Brian.
Okay.
I was going to go stay out at the lake house, which is our new.
That's your new fun spot, right?
New fun spot. So I don't know if I'll play this weekend. We'll see. And then, but we do go to New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Next week.
For what's out there?
Friends have a condo, and we're going to go out there and golf.
Awesome.
So that'll be fun.
You and your husband?
Yep. The two of us and the two of them. They're pretty good golfers.
That'll be fun to test it. That'll be fun to test, you know, in a different golf course, what we're working on.
I know, because I really feel like, oh my gosh, I can do this.
You can.
I just need to start scoring.
You can totally do it. And the scoring comes from club selection, like these shots we just did.
Yeah.
Because you're
If I can shave off another stroke.
you're getting there so much sooner.
Yeah.
We just got to shave it a little bit.
Yeah. If I can shave off a stroke here.
Yep.
And, you know, and
Wait.
if I can find my ball, and I won't take 3 strokes again.
I mean, and if I told you too, well, and it's like full swing is obviously the most important.
Yep.
But if we can eliminate the big numbers,
For sure.
like if I said, all right, think about the possibilities with, I'll give you 1 3-putt, and I'll give you the highest score you can make as a double.
I know.
Yeah.
If I could do that. And I came close yesterday. I had a couple of 7s on the par 5s. I just didn't have a lot of long shots, especially the first one that goes down into the deep, you know, and then up again. But my putting was a little bit off, so that added a couple of strokes.
Now, when you say putting, long putts, short putts, speed.
I should be making 5-foot putts,
Okay.
6-foot putts. I have been pretty good.
Okay, let's go down here. I mean, 5-footers to me, those are the ones that kind of change your round, right?
Yes, exactly.
You miss those, it gets in your head, and now you're shaky the rest of the day. You make them, you can save some good scores. So let's go at that right away. So I'm going to take this up. And down here I like to pick a lot of times because they are flatter than up there.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just a little break.
These were the ones that I was just putting right next to the cup.
Okay. Watch
could
you.
have eliminated.
And do you use that seam like you are right now? That look?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always do.
They're fast today.
Yep.
They're very
It was
fast.
yesterday,
Mhm.
too. It takes a while to figure out how fast it is. But that's what I was doing. I was stopping it right here.
Just all on the edge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was just a little bit off on my,
Those coulda wouldas, right?
yeah.
Okay, good putt. One more. So the key to good putting, in my opinion, there's three things. So great putters do three things really good. The awesome speed control, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a dependable start line, meaning if I'm aiming at the left edge, I hit the left edge.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And the last aspect is green reading,
Mm-hmm.
like the ability to do that. If you're doing those three things good, you're a good putter. What I would say is when somebody's struggling with 5-footers and it's kind of on the edge, the speed's probably pretty decent.
Yeah.
Okay? It's more like the club face isn't getting the contact with the ball where we want it, and we're missing that. So what I saw on that stroke, I saw two things. Okay, I saw a ball position that's too much in the middle. So I would like the
Okay.
ball position a little more up.
Really? Because I was lining up my stripe with that.
No, not the club face, where it is relative to your feet.
Oh, gotcha.
So just a little bit more up. So if I put this club kind of more in the middle of my stance, then my ball would be what we call one ball up. Okay? And then
So is this where you're thinking?
it's a little too much up. There you go, perfect. And then the big thing is this. When you're making a putting stroke, obviously the lower body is very quiet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm moving back and forth, because my arms are kind of hanging from my shoulders, I have to feel like my chest stays in the same spot, and we got a little bit of what I call getting ahead of the putt.
Okay.
So it's almost like your body moved towards the hole. And if I was to kind of put blinders on here, there we go. So that's more of the stroke. So it's shoulders and arms, and this kind of stays very stagnant, okay?
Oh, but I didn't have the speed.
It's okay.
because I was thinking about the other.
Yep, well, just like a lesson, you're allowed to, right? Okay, so let's aim right on that seam. Good putt, good putt,
Yeah.
good putt. The best putters are very quiet with their bodies, and it's much more kind of the arms swinging back and forth. And when you get the body moving ahead, that kind of presents what we call an open blade, and the ball can shoot to the right. If the ball position's off, it can do a lot of things. So I just want you to kind of think this is quiet, okay? Very, very quiet in there. Good putt, good putt. Let's do these two. And just so we know, so expectations on a 5-footer, what kind of percentage should we be making?
I want to make almost all.
Okay.
I want to make 80%.
Okay, I'll give you 80.
Is
I would
that
say,
too much to hope for?
here's what I'll say. From 3 to 4 feet,
100%.
the PGA Tour players, the LPGA, they're in the very high 90s
Okay.
throughout their season. But they're doing it for a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
My rule of thumb is if it's inside the length of the putter, 3.5-ish feet or so, got to make those. Will you miss 1 or 2? Yeah, it happens. Not in a round. I'm talking like maybe a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Where it lips around because you didn't have the speed right. Or
Correct.
something.
5 or 6 feet, let's aim for 70 to 80%. At 8 feet, which isn't too much of a difference, even professionals that play, they're 50-50 from 8 feet.
Yeah. But that 8 feet means you really have to get it close to the hole so that it's.
There you go.
done.
Because they don't have a lot of 8 to 10 footers unless it's a birdie putt. So if you're always having 5-foot putts,
I'm not getting it close enough.
bingo. So
I know.
yeah. So the scapegoat is I'm not good with short putts. I would say, okay, yeah, we can work on that, but we need to get it closer in the first place with the
Yes.
lag, right?
That's a problem.
So it's speed control.
Speed control is a big thing for me.
I think that's the biggest thing for most people because even if they're not great at reading the greens, if they can get the speed,
Then it's easy.
yes. Okay, feel very still. Good putt, good putt,
Okay.
good putt. Do that again. Okay. I want you to try to feel like this ball dies in the hole, so it's going to be moving a little slower. That I like better.
Yeah, I don't like it when it's got to bounce in because
No.
chances are now I'm another 4 feet away. And
So-
I've got to try to get it in.
That hole is 4.1 so inches wide, right? Big. If it's moving at a pace that's slow enough that it would stop 6-7 inches past the hole, you wouldn't get lip outs and the ball gets what we call captured. If it's going 3 feet past, you're making that hole less than half the size.
I know.
So like, I like my students to feel like they're dying the ball into the hole, especially if they have that tendency to be long all the time, because that was the best speed yet, okay? All right, we got this. So ball position, and then we're gonna feel like we stay nice and still. Okay, so.
And now I've got to do the same thing.
Okay, so yep, give me one more. And that's where it's speed, right? So really feel like it's quiet here. Keep your head kind of looking at like an inside part of the ball. And I want you to dive this ball into the hole. So we're gonna dive this ball into the hole. Now,